Oh, 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 oh my God. There's no host on this show because it's two Negroes who know exactly what the hell they believe, know exactly who the hell they're
Mhm.
talking to. Ain't no interviewing going on. It's just me and my nigga. My
What's
nigga.
up? What up, boy?
What up with your boy?
Hey, listen, if y'all don't know, this is 2/3 of the incomparable clickbaity political thirst trap.
Indeed.
We are coming to you all the way live from our respective places across America. I am Marcus Farrell, Black Digital Grill, and the creator of a couple of things that you might have saw. And I'm rocking with Mayor Mondale Robinson, the host of this one, even though there is no host,
Ain't no damn host.
of the great city of Enfield, North Carolina,
Mhm.
and also the head of, the leader of the incomparable Black Male Voter Project, one of the only organizations that actually host, who talk to Black men consistently in a professional way. So this man knows what he's talking about when he mentions Black man. What's going on, man?
That shit, bro. Listen, man. Listen, I know, you try to make reparations happen for us through one candidate at a time. So I know we ain't got that much time today, but I definitely wanted to. You and I are on, I think, same side but different point of views on an issue that is pressing right now in politics. And I didn't want to have this conversation. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with anybody else other than you in the way that we're going to have it because I know everything you're gonna say is gonna come from a place of benefit for our people,
Mhm.
whereas DL Hewley is on some goofy shit as usual, and also anybody else that's circulating this, and now it's in the ethos of the white world. So I wanted to make sure people know what we're talking about. We're talking about DL Hewley sitting on stage on a virtual stage with Rep Jackson or Johnson. What's the brother name? Justin. What Johnson Jones from Tennessee saying that black athletes in college should not play in states where they are gerrymandering districts.
Yeah,
I
I ain't got nothing bad to say about DL because he agree with me. So you know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
So Marcus, as you can see, agrees with the sentiments. I have a problem with the sentiments, not the actions. I don't. I think I'm not saying black athletes need to shut up. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is D.L. Hewley has no place to tell black people, black poor people, black working class people what to do. So Marcus, where do you and I differ on this?
Um, we differ because and we're trying to get to the same place, but it's methods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that hasn't happened like in a massive scale is one good old fashioned boycott, right? Like, and I'm not talking about just Target, and I'm not talking about the boycotts that have worked recently, but I'm talking about just old school um, boycotting. And when it comes down to the SEC, right? If you live in the South, I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, right? I'm a big time Florida State fan. I am a Rattler. I'm a
Right.
Florida A&M University Rattler, right? All day long, right? I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Tallahassee, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Atlanta, Georgia, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the College Football Hall of Fame is here.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy SEC football. If I would be remiss to tell you that I am not a big fan of seeing the pageantry of SEC football, but
Right.
also you have to recognize that there is the power structure is directly tied to college football for
Mm-hmm.
years down here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we take it from a historical aspect,
Mm-hmm.
back when Southern,
Mm-hmm.
Grambling, Florida
Yep.
A&M won the first division, the first I believe Division Two. I don't want to say it wrong. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
college football championship, right? That was ever done. FAMU, HBCU won a national championship,
Yep.
right? The same one that Appalachian State and the Dakota schools win all the time right now.
Mm-hmm.
You will see that once integration stopped and they opened up the doors for college athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not knocking the HBCU athletes as it is because we've had plenty of NFL players in recent modern history um, go to the pros. But what I am saying is that it is a direct construct of politicians in the South. If you think about where money comes from, where allowances come from, hell, if University of Florida cheats and FAMU cheats, then they're going to punish FAMU and let Florida get away with it. No offense to the Gators out there, and this is no offense to the fan bases. This is an offense. This is a call out to a system that we know these elected officials are directly tied. If you talk about LSU and the amount of Republican elected officials that go to those games, one person literally calls the game for LSU and then goes to the state house and goes and makes decisions against the players' families that are from Louisiana. Right? So I'm going to address your argument, but first I'm going to let you make your argument. Right?
Yeah. I appreciate that.
All right. If you need us for anything across the board, then you better treat us right. And we know for a fact that untalented, all white SEC league, and no offense to the white kids, because there's some amazingly talented white kids out there that can throw that ball, run that ball, everything. But 80% of college football right now is in the SEC is black. 80%. So we would be remiss to say that we don't have any power. And the cities that support these cities that support these schools are the only ones voting Republicans in and allowing them. So if their constituency gets touched, then maybe their decisions will be a little bit different about redistricting and hurting the communities where they're making so much money from. And it's a fair argument to say that college football, up until the NIL, which I know you're about to touch, and I got some for that too, up until the NIL was basically an enslavement system. So that's my conversation. I'm gonna wait for you to say one thing. You know me, Mondale. But yeah, that's it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So listen, I have very little. I mean, what you just said is grounded in historical truth, and also accuracy. But here's my argument. My problem with D.L. Hughley's sentiments is, first of all, D.L. Hughley is not a college athlete. D.L. Hughley is a rich black man in the twilight of his career. D.L. Hughley has all the comforts that America can offer. He can call someone and be invited to anything that's happening around this country. He can access any most wrongs of black excellence across this country. D.L. Hughley and also any other of all of these famous people that are now sharing this can do that. These students, and I need people to understand why you and I are simply talking about football, because talking about black athletes not going to these schools is actually coded language, because it doesn't matter. And this is not to say that other black athletes don't matter, but what we're talking about, if we're talking about power and the power to affect anything, you're talking about black SEC football. And the reason you are is because football pays for, at the college level, at these schools, football pays for all other sports. All of those other athletes, uniforms and everything are paid for by those football programs. That's just the facts. So we're not demeaning any other athletes. We're talking about football players because it pays the bills. So now, because we are talking about football players, this is where I'm fucking pissed at, Marcus. Excuse my language.
Go ahead.
Because you know that I do organizing around black men solely, and I have for a long time. And I also know the data on these brothers. These are first-generation college kids. These are kids who, all the way back to the plantation, no one in their family, for the most part, no one in their family has been to school and got a degree. They are also overwhelmingly from lower-income families. So we are taking these kids, and they are kids, young fucking adult, young black men who are a part of a generation where their group, one of the leading calls for people their age is police officers. D.L. Hughley is not in their age group. 18 and 35, one of the leading causes for death for black men is police officers. So you're telling this most vulnerable demographic, or one of the most vulnerable demographics in this country, to sacrifice the one opportunity anybody in their family has ever had for this little window that they have, because the adults that are responsible for us, partly responsible for us being here, don't have the wherewithal to take it for themselves and stand up for themselves. My problem, let me make it clear. D.L. Hughley, Tyler Perry, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, all of the NFL teams in Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, all of the baseball teams in Texas, Tennessee as well, the baseball team in Texas and Georgia and Florida, all of these, and the basketball teams, all of these people could actually sit out and have a bigger effect on money right now. Imagine if all Black basketball players right now refuse to play any basketball in this playoff season. Imagine what that would say right now if all basketball players, and guess what would happen tomorrow? They would all still wake up rich. These kids, we seen what they did to Deion Sanders' kid, and he came from a rich dad. Imagine if he didn't have the protection of Deion and all of that background. How vulnerable would that kid have been? So what I'm saying is we're taking first-generation Black men from poor families and ruining their opportunity, knowing that they will carry this label for the rest of their football career. That they didn't want to play football at SEC, so people are going to be standoffish on where these kids end up. It is not these kids' job to labor and carry the burden of Black people in positions of power and wealth, not doing shit and being afraid to upset their white friends. Because Black politicians should have demanded, when Democrats had power, that some radical shit happened so we don't have to talk about chopping off our kids or sacrificing Black men in this manner. That's my problem. I'm not against boycott. I'm against rich ass Black people calling for poor Black people to sacrifice their one opportunity to make money while they sit comfortable and smoke cigars with Steve Harvey with his big ass head and thick mustache.
Mr. Mayor, and you know what, your points are well taken. I'm going to address them one by one because I believe that this is, first off, as they say in improv, I think it's a yes and instead of a yes but. So when we talk about football, when you talk about college football, I've been a fan of this same system of football since the day that I was born, right? We're talking about if a school like Alabama or LSU or Auburn or University of Florida has a bad recruiting year, not an overall bad program. If they have a bad recruiting year, systems change. The whole system, they get rid of the coach, they change the jersey color, the whole system changes, right? If you are of the caliber, listen, I want you to be clear. If you are the caliber, this is why I like the ask of boycotting the SEC. I'm not saying college football. I'm saying the SEC. If you are the caliber athlete that gets a scholarship offer to a SEC school, I can guarantee you're getting a scholarship offer from a Pac-10 school, from an HBCU, from a million other schools want you outside of the SEC. That will give you the same amount of attention for the pro scouts. These kids need to be going to HBCUs anyway, but our endowment isn't big enough. Now, here's the idea. Maybe those same rich people that you said could put 5, 10%, 2% of their money towards the NIL and then say, hey, this is for HBCUs. And then, yeah, we can build power programs in the HBCUs. But it's not about that, right? It's not about that. What it's about is, see, here's the thing. When we say boycott the SEC, you know, I'm not sitting up here saying that any college program or PWI doesn't have their part in debauchery. But what I am saying is that when they start gerrymandering the South and cutting Black congressmen and Black Congress people out of their district, then the conversation should change to, okay, what can we do about it? So listen, because I'm going to touch on the athlete part. I mean, the rich people in DL in a second, right? First, let's just keep it 1,000. The Big Ten wins championships, right? If you get a scholarship offer from the University of Florida, I can guarantee you that a school in the Big Ten has offered you. If you get a scholarship offer to Auburn, I know for a fact that Florida State, even though Florida State is probably a Southern school that shouldn't be included in it, but I'm a Seminole fan, Florida State can do the same thing. This is about strategy and actually saying, because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, nobody's giving more money out right now than Miami and Ohio State. That money's there.
Mm-hmm.
And trust and believe, the SEC will change policies if Auburn, Alabama, LSU, Florida doesn't win a national championship and Ole Miss, Ole Miss, with their classically, they have a classical race problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the name, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Right? They got a running rebel. Right? They got a rebel. So what I'm saying is very simple, man. Like, the idea is great because we're not ostracizing the black kids to not take money. You don't just get one scholarship offer if you're getting recruited by Auburn. What we're saying is, nah, these same kids, hey, the parents, hey, you know what? Hey, we get it. Alabama's offering you, they're telling you, first off, you're not going to start unless you're like Jordan talent coming out of high school. You're not going to start. You're going to spend 4 years, right? If Alabama's offering you a $2 million NIL deal and Miami's offering you, or if Ohio State is offering you a 1.7 NIL deal, take the lick. Take the hit. Prove the point. That's how collective power is built. If all of them do that. See, if the option was with these kids, they can only go to SEC school, I'd agree with you. But that's not the option. You don't make it to the level. Now, to your second point. I'm not mad at the celebrities calling these kids to do it. Because I think that sometimes there's not a lot of nuance. I done thought this thing through. There's not a lot of nuance with the DLs. I mean, well, I'm not saying they don't have nuance, but what I am saying is it's a yes and, right? They can call for it because guess what? They got the platforms to do it. Right now, in somebody's locker room, not because of my video, but because in somebody's locker room or in somebody's training session, somewhere at an SEC school, there's 2 black kids who are woke from these neighborhoods, from these areas, who are looking at each other like, got a point. Hey, you know what? The conversation starts when they get elevated by everybody, but everybody has to be on the same page with it and understand. And we have to understand, okay, you know what? If y'all gonna call for it, then you need to put $1 million towards HBCU and NIL. You need to put, like, you can't just be rich and famous and a celebrity and just say, do this without, okay, now you got to throw down. And I'm not sitting up here saying that that's a must, but to elevate the problem and to get the conversation started, absolutely.
All right. So I hear you, but listen to me. What's missing in your statement, I think, brother, let me address a couple things. You said if Alabama has a bad recruiting year, systems change. That's a fact. That's a fact. They change systems. What happens if the NBA playoff stops? What happens if baseball stops right now? All black people playing baseball just stop right now. What happens if NFL training does not start in a couple months? What happens if nobody black shows up? That's really going to stop money. Also,
hold on. I want to say something to that. To back up your point, the closest thing that we've seen to it is during Black Lives Matter protests when Missouri, the University of Missouri football team said, you know what, we're going to sit out this weekend.
Or when the NBA players did something.
Yeah. Then
so it happens. So what I'm saying is this is my problem. You have rich people that are not offering anything but asking these young folk to sacrifice possibly everything. Because if you refuse to go to SEC, I hear you saying you may go somewhere else. But these people don't need to go anywhere else. Tyler Perry don't need to be hired by anybody. Why D.L. Hughley? Let me give you an example. White people told Spike Lee they were not going to give him the rest of the money to finish Malcolm X movie. You know what he did?
He with the black people.
He called Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, and a couple other people, and they paid for it. And they paid for it and said, don't even give us credit for it. So that's rich people, rich black people taking care of rich black people. In this moment, in this political moment right now, why didn't DL Hewlett? You said he got the platform. He does have the platform. So why does he not use his platform to call out Beyonce, who's from Houston? Call out Jay-Z, who's from the slums in Brooklyn? Why not use this platform to call out Jermaine Dupri from Atlanta, Cop City? Why not call out Mike, Killer Mike? Why not call out T.I.? Why not call out Jamie Foxx, who's from Texas but lives in Atlanta? Why not call out 50 Cent, who lives in Atlanta? Why not call out Michael Jordan, who's from and lives in North Carolina? I'm just asking, why not call out all of these black people who have more influence and also a bigger reach that could shut down shit further than these kids? And even if Tyler Perry said nobody's producing a movie on my studio until this stops, we're not doing any writing, producing anything. If all the black actors did that, imagine what the effect would be. We ain't shooting no movies. We ain't showing up for no scenes in southern states. That to me sounds like a powerful statement. That to me invokes something, not just these kids. We don't sacrifice our kids. We require something from them because nothing's being required. So those two kids now in the locker room are probably the two woke ones that you were talking about are probably not the stars of those teams. These two woke kids from the hood are thinking about this, and they're about to be sacrificial lambs, just like the dark-skinned brothers who were sitting down before Colin Kaepernick started taking a knee. These dark-skinned football players in the NFL that nobody knows their name or remember that they too got blackballed, and they were doing what the black activists were doing. Colin Kaepernick took a knee because a white veteran told him to. He didn't call you, Marcus, who's a veteran. He didn't call me, who's a veteran. He didn't ask any black veteran. He asked a white veteran. And they still kicked his ass out the NFL. Yeah. So he's the only athlete that they talk about. So these two poor athletes that are woke, we talking about these proverbial athletes in the locker room at an SEC school that are contemplating this are about to they're about to sacrifice it all for blackness. And these rich people like D.L. Hewlett ain't got a fucking dime to give these people. They got it, but they ain't gonna give it to them. And that's my problem with this call.
So I don't disagree with you, but the conversation needs to start, right? Like
with rich people or poor people?
With rich people. I mean, I like here's the thing. When we say, see, here's the big thing that I'm saying. It's SEC for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm gonna tell you something about the SEC, right? If the NBA didn't make any money, and baseball didn't make any money, and football, NFL didn't make any money, let me tell you one thing that's gonna happen. If the SEC is still in full action, the South won't care. You got to understand that. Like, if the whole state of Alabama cares about Alabama football.
That's a fact.
Right? The whole state of Georgia cares about University of Georgia. And, notice I don't bring up University of Georgia because Georgia ain't down here doing that. That's also because Georgia got common sense. This the last place they want to try some crap like that because they already see that we beat them in the election already, right? Like they already see.
Brian Kemp just did something sneaky with 12-14 House people, where he just took off Democratic titles so people can't know who they voting for.
Right,
so they still in elections.
I mean, listen to what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not trying to justify anything.
I know you're not.
What I am saying is, like, the ethos of it is there is a reason for the SEC. There is so many direct correlations to Southern politics and the SEC. I'm going to give you one bigger one. And this is my conspiracy theory hat. When Nick Saban decided he was going to retire from Alabama and they got in over Florida State, who was an undefeated team, that shows you the power of the SEC. We're talking about Disney. SEC, right? Yeah. Like it's not. See. Here's the thing: you mess with the SEC, you're messing with the South. You're messing with you're messing with the finances of legislators. You're messing with whole families and whole cultures, right? The NBA, like, they should have been did that when George Floyd passed away. They should have did that. Like when Trayvon passed away, that should have happened, right? Now. I'm not knocking nobody. I'm not going to knock DL for making a call for it. But to your point, there needs to be another level to it where it is, okay, it's more than just because we got to make sure we take care of our own. right? Like we got to make sure we take care of our own. The only answer to making it work, right, is if the same people calling for it actually put some money behind it and create an NIL. Without an NIL, right? Like without an NIL bank, right? We could call it the Southern Celebrity Bank. And somehow it manages to get, let's just say, $1 billion in it or $500 million, right? And that's assigned to the 5 major HBCU schools, right? Like 5 major HBCUs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as long as FAMU's in there, I'm good. Then that legitimizes the conversation when it comes down to celebrities. I don't think it's even moved that far, right? I think people are just saying boycott the SEC but I don't even think people understand why I even made a video of it is because I know how much power that will take. And I know that every single college student, listen, my friends who are coaches, I'm from Tallahassee. Half of my friends are either went to the NFL, played college, and they're all coaching at colleges right now. Mm-hmm. All of them, or high school, right? Most of them have called me. They're not gonna say nothing publicly, but most of them called me and said, "Bro, that's a fantastic idea," right? Because they know that kid from Miami Northwestern is getting recruited by USC, UCLA, Florida A&M. They're like, fam, you won't even go down there, and Southern won't even go down there and recruit them because it takes money to get your people down there to even talk to them.
Yeah, but Marcus, my problem is we still are talking about kids and not people that has access to tons of money.
But the system that's most important, but the most important system deals with is the kids. Like.
No, so I'm talking about institutions, not the kids. Listen, think about this.
Right.
Listen. Georgia professional sports, right? $3 billion a year. Florida professional sports, $5 billion a year. Texas, $6 billion. Tennessee, $1.8 billion. North Carolina, right there with $2 billion. That is all you can shake all that up. That's $2 billion. That's $20-30 billion out the South right there alone, just from professional sports. $30 billion will change the economic standing of all those southern states. None of them can afford that. And that affects businesses, that affects households, and the same legislatures will get that heat. I promise you. The owners, Arthur Blank owns the Falcons, the Hawks. I don't know if he owns the Hawks. That might be a mistake. He owns Home Depot, he owns the Falcons, and he owns I think the women's basketball or women's soccer team there. If that shuts down, I bet you he's gonna call somebody. I bet you shit gonna change.
Oh, okay. To your
my
point.
thing is, I am not against young people protesting. I think the backs of movements are built on the struggle. I mean, on the work and willingness of young folk to get out there and do it. Absolutely. What I'm saying is, it is no different if white people are telling black folk to go play football for free than if the black people telling poor black people to potentially sacrifice their career or their future for what rich folk might do. D.L. Hughley ain't say, if black students from SEC or boycott SEC, I'm gonna raise this much money. He just told them to do it.
Mm-hmm. No,
he ain't say, you know what I'm saying? They ain't say.
No, you make sense.
He ain't say, if y'all don't go, then we're gonna pay you, because I wouldn't have had nothing to say to that. I'd have been like, let me share this 1,000,000 times. Let me talk about this every day. Black people are finally paying their cost for these young folk. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a great example. Marcus, you've been in the political space as long as I have. You know as much as I do about how the inner workings of these political organizations do and don't work. And you know the reason so many black men sit out election is because the bullshit that these people at these organizations are talking about don't mean shit to poor and regular ass black men. Right. And it's because they are chasing KPI, key performance indexes, or indicators, from what white organizations tell them to fund or do. And that's because ain't none of these organizations, and I'm not exaggerating. If you think I'm lying, you can go check it yourself. None of them are majority or singly funded by black donors. Every organization in this country doing this work on a regional or national scale, majority of their funding, not even a significant portion of their funding, come from black donors. So now we are thinking these same people who don't fund civic engagement work is going to fund athletes quitting. They're not. They're just going to turn their back.
Well, okay.
I created the idea.
So first, everything that you just said is true. What we're getting at with the SEC, right? This needs to be said. Unlike the pros, right? Professional teams have fans, right? College football has something different. College football has fans and alumni. And just follow what I'm saying. So when you talk about LSU, when you talk about University of Georgia, when you talk about these schools, their alumni associations include governors, include state representatives, include billionaires, so that's just more than a fan. These are people who actively make laws and donate money consistently that make way more money than some of these professional sports leagues. If you're like, when you take the black athlete away and turn their program into crap, you want to see a law change fast? When you have 10,000 alumni association members calling up a president of a school saying, bruh, no. I mean, you got to think about it. Yeah, we like the Cowboys, but Alabama has a national alumni association and they all give money. Now, again, I'm not getting away from the fact, like, we got to just center this part. I think we agreed that the boycott at any level would be good. We should be like, there should have been an NBA, NFL boycott a long time ago, just to make sure that black folks were treated respectfully, right? I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But what I am saying is, I would be remiss to say is, I got to go back to my original point. Kid X, superstar X from high school X, or freshman quarterback Y that has been sitting on the bench or even starting. Each year there's an NIL, there's a transfer portal, right? Each year there's a transfer portal. Guess where? Look, the starting QB. Well, Michael Penix. Michael Penix went to Washington and got drafted where he was drafted, and he's now the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, right? Like high school person X is getting drafted. I mean, it's getting recruited for more schools than just the SEC schools. And let me tell you something about how college recruiting goes. You know those schools like Ohio State and Michigan, right? You wonder why Indiana won a national championship in football. They're not in the SEC, right? The reason why they won is because they wanted certain players, and the Alumni Association said, well, this kid costs X, Y, and Z. We're gonna get that kid. And they went and got him. The reason why Miami football went from 0 to 100 is because their millionaire and billionaire class of graduates and supporters literally bought all the players that they want. The schools outside the SEC got bread too, cuz. And let me tell you something. There is a Division II school, or there is a lower tier school that will give said kid that much more money just to come over, and not, even though they're getting recruited by the Alabamas, they will still get an opportunity to go play football. And let me tell you something about the NFL, my man. The NFL, even though, you know, they got their own issues, and we can talk about a boycott of that too, right? Like if it comes down to it, right? But the NFL, at the end of the day, they're going to find the talent. Yes, it's political. A million football players will tell you, bro, I went to FAMU, so there was no chance for me to go to pro. And that's right sometimes. But let there be an exodus from a white school to a black school. Let that happen. Guess where the NFL is going to be? They're not going to be like, we're not going to recruit you because you went to FAMU.
But you're still missing my point. And I think that's where we differ at. My point is we still require more of people with less than we are people that are comfortable.
No, I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. Like, no, What I'm saying is, I don't agree with that, but this is a tactic that is more direct. I'm
gonna tell you why I think it's wrong. You guys are thinking about college football in normal America. We're not in normal America. We are watching Republicans lose elections because they want to support Trump. We are watching people. America has walked up people who had tags and still have tags on their car. White crazy Republicans had tags that said, "Don't tread on me." Right. Now they ball chasing Donald Trump. These people who said "Don't tread on me" has allowed Donald Trump to tread on him. Donald Trump is literally saying, "I don't care about America's economy. I don't care about people starving. I don't care about white people in the country in Appalachia dying from poverty or loss of healthcare or rural hospital closing," and they're still riding with him. His approval with those people are still sky high because Donald Trump understands that whiteness to white people who support supremacy is more important than anything, even life. Even life. So I'm telling you,
you better invoke Lyndon B. Johnson.
Right?
You better invoke him.
Right? I'm telling you, right? So what I'm saying is, this is all I'm saying. I'm saying we are not playing. We believe we are being naive, I think, if we believe that black kids saying I'm not going to Alabama because of what's going on with gerrymandering will be treated the same. They will not be treated the same.
So what you're saying,
I'm saying they're going to Shedeur Sanders these guys, and these guys don't have Deion Sanders as a father. That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. And what
Shedeur Sanders is a number one pick if he ain't Deion Sanders' son.
Oh no, well, I mean, more importantly, like he's going to prove it, right? Like but that's a sports ball conversation, and we don't have to.
Is it a sports ball conversation?
Well, it's a conversation on race and class also, right? Like, as a matter of fact, it's more of a conversation on race and class than it is a sports conversation. But I
don't have sports ball conversation with you because I don't know as much about sports as you do. So please, that's why that was the irony of the title. A political conversation about football, because I never argue with Marcus about sports, because out of the two of us, he's way more versed in sports than I am. I know the rules of most sports. I can't name 10 players in any sport, but
yes, you can. Stop
I ain't, bro.
You can name 10 NBA.
Maybe in NBA.
You can name 10 NBA players. Get out of here.
Maybe. Marcus.
Bro, you can name 10 NBA players.
I'm a LeBron fan.
Okay, so is that the only player that ever played basketball?
No, I'm talking about like that are actively playing.
Oh, well, okay, I can understand that.
No. In the history. Oh, in the history.
I'm like trying to name 10 rappers right now that it just came out.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna work. I can't name. Yeah, but I am excited about what Drake album may be or may not because I'm a Drake fan, but because it's been 2 years and I want to see what it does. So, but what I'm really saying, dog, is I think this is my problem. This is what rubs me. These kids are not responsible in any way for how we got here politically. We are here because of weak ass politicians like James Clyburn, who got locked up the other day, which to me looked like a tantrum tantrum, really, because you're protesting now that your district he thought his district was on the chopping block. He thought South Carolina was going to redraw his district. So James Clyburn went and got locked up. But Marcus, guess what James Clyburn was not? Protesting when George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were killed. He was taking a knee with kente cloth on with fucking Nancy Pelosi. so for me, it looks performative. And while I care about how black districts look and black representation look, James Clyburn can't be the face of that in this moment, just because you got protesting and got arrested the other day. You understand what I'm saying? Because
so here's the thing. The fundamental disagreement from my aspect for you, and I don't think there's a right or wrong way. The fundamental disagreement I have is the scholarship issue, right? Is that like I'm sorry, like if you get that letter, trust me. How about this right here? The first letter you're getting is not from Alabama.
No, I guarantee you've been recruited. You got letters. Birthday cards last year in your junior year. You know what I'm saying? Here's what I'm saying though. If it's a boycott, right? If it's a boycott, Marcus, and I'm gonna shut up. If it's a boycott, then you have to let people know that you're not going to Alabama for a reason. What I'm saying is, the moment you let people know that you're not going to Alabama because of that gerrymandering, you put a target on your back. That target will follow you.
Okay. Now, and you touched on another point. You said it's not their responsibility. Now, here I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I could look at John Lewis' work with SNCC when he was a kid and say, well, it wasn't his responsibility either. Right? You know what I mean? Like SNCC was a whole movement.
Can I say something to you? And that make you think about that because you're a historian and you're thinking. The difference between John Lewis protests and where these kids are now is John Lewis lived in a moment. He lived in a Jim Crow world where black people went, where Reconstruction had already been eliminated and black representation went from
what
zero.
You think we're going through now, my dad?
Hold on. But listen, black representation was zero. Right now, for the past 40, 50 years, we had black representation that got comfortable at the table instead of turning that bitch up. So I think the difference is John Lewis didn't have black people to be mad at because those motherfuckers are out there fighting, getting their heads cracked already. Whereas we have had black people been excited about CBC weekend.
Hey, my deal, I got to bounce. You know I got to go to work.
Go to work, boy. I love you, man.
Hey, listen, great conversation, man. You know, I'm gonna come down at all times, right? But you know, I'm also trying to save democracy for real.
Go ahead.
So
hey, save it. It's gone.
Yeah. Hey, listen, let's do it again soon, bro.
Yeah, bro. Y'all be easy, man. Marcus, I might step in a little bit and see if I I'm gonna hop off because I gotta go see my wife before I start traveling. All right, y'all. If you ain't got nothing to do this Saturday, you should be in Alabama. If you're in North Carolina, we got 3 or 4 buses leaving North Carolina, headed to Alabama. So if you really want to go, if you really care about black people and what's happening in the South, call me, get in touch with me, and make sure you see yourself on one of those buses because we still got a few seats. All right. Peace and blessings. Marcus, I love you, boy.
Love you too, man.
Peace, y'all.